I mean, the
Right?
only visual that comes up in my head was when my dad was teaching me how to ride my bike, and I fell and I started crying, and he just left me.
Immigrant mentality, bro. That's how we
He
do
just
it in
left
the
me
old
there.
world right there.
Right.
Welcome to another episode of Don Draper's Den. On this podcast, we discuss branding and marketing and how it touches so many aspects of our lives. We also talk a bunch of trash about music and food and culture and each other and so much more. We hope you're entertained. We hope you can get some insight from these two marketing professionals such as ourselves. I'm Chris, and this is Ernie. In this podcast, we get into AI, among other things.
AI, marketing trends.
Marketing trends.
So
There's a bunch going on there.
Review a lot of that. Talk about some of the ethics of these trends.
How they're probably spying on us.
We talk about how much I laugh at kids crying.
Yeah, Schadenfreude is a big thing in your life.
And how you don't care when people are in pain and hurting.
And of course, all the stupid videos we're watching on TikTok and Instagram. So it was a good one. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We appreciate the support. Want to spread the word on this and blow this up. So without further ado, pour yourself a glass and let's get into this.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Oh man. Yeah, my hand hurts. So that's the big news today.
It's because you're doing all that rolling on the mat.
I was rolling with
Staph
dudes.
infection rolling.
I was rolling with dudes. I was rolling with Wyatt, who last time when we first got this thing going, actually busted my eye.
Yeah.
He just decided to like poke me right in the eyeball. Of course, it's not his fault. He's just a young feller trying to get after it. It's fine. It was an accident, but it sucks.
So how's that experience when you like get poked in the eye? You hurt your like. Do you feel the need to like suppress any urge of like crying or like overreacting over pain?
First of all, I always feel the need to suppress crying. That's a fact of life as an American man.
Or do you just let it all out? Some people just like
no,
start cussing up a storm.
No. So anytime I've gotten hurt, you know, what bothers me, it was my left hand. So that's my fretting hand for a guitar. So it happened. I was like, well, I'm not playing for a couple weeks. That's annoying, you know? Yeah, that was but that was my first thought. Did it hurt? Yeah, but it's all right. You know, I'm all right. I've like smacked myself with hammers.
At what age did you start to gravitate towards this tough man persona where like no crying allowed?
No crying. So, you know, it's weird. We're very simpatico because I was just thinking before we started of things just kind of, you know, to jump into. I don't know if we've had this discussion before. When was the last time that you cried from pain?
Cried from pain? I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time crying from pain. Like being in pain and wincing and doubled over and be like, cussing up a storm. Sure. Like this past summer. I don't know.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like, well, recent.
Working on the shed and dropping like wood on my foot or something, you know. Like I can imagine.
Crying from pain.
No, I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I mean, the only visual that comes up in my head was when my dad was teaching me how to ride my bike. And I fell and I started crying and he just left me.
Immigrant mentality, bro. That's how we do it in the old world right there.
Right.
You'll get up, stupid.
Yeah. I don't even think he said that. He just walked away.
Yeah. Damn.
And I think that's probably when I learned. I'm like, okay.
It's not going to do anything. Tears aren't going to help.
Yeah.
So intellectually, no, it was a long time, man, since I was a boy. Right prior to high school, because like it's human instinct to cry, right, because that means you need your parents to help you, and that's just the way that goes, right? So it's as much just hey, it's like I need some help here, you know. But no, I haven't cried, and I've had I've told you I had a ruptured eardrum. Felt like somebody's pulling a fish hook out of my ear.
Yeah,
it sucked, and I was cursing a storm up, but crying.
Yeah, no. It's funny. I don't know. Just maybe a couple months ago, I had I reminded Lily that, just so you know, reminder, crying, you crying makes me laugh. So
You're getting that trend going. Jesus Christ, dude.
So if
my old man walked away from my pain, and I'll laugh at yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
Man.
I clarify, obviously. I'm not that terrible of a dad. I tell her,
You're good,
like,
Dad.
if you're crying because, like, obviously something hurt you at school or something.
Right.
Like, I won't.
Social pain.
Right,
Emotional
social pain.
Yeah.
Or, like, even if you stubbed your toe and you're crying or you broke something, like, oh, man, like, obviously that's serious stuff. But if it's like, hey, you need to go to bed, like,
I'm going to mock the shit out of that.
I'll start laughing so hard.
A hearty laugh, like a bellow.
Like,
yeah.
Well, because part of it is that she's also like perfected the cry. She even told me, "Hey, Dad, look, I could cry just like this," and she'll do it on the spot.
Whoa.
I'm like, okay, you just like revealed your card. You just gave away your secret. And so now, if Mom tells you to go clean the dishes, you start crying. I'm gonna laugh so hard. And if you hate that I laugh, well, then stop crying for something like that.
Yeah.
Genuine tears and somebody hurt their feelings, and obviously that's different.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
But man, there's nothing like kids crying that makes me just laugh so hard.
One of the funniest things I think.
I think that's partly is because I'm like, look, like as you get older, life just gets harder, kid.
It just get kicked in the dick on like a weekly basis. Right. You're just like, and then you recover from that, like, Jesus, that was terrible. And then bam, kicked in the mouth. Yeah. Oh, my fucking hand. Yeah. So it never stops.
Yeah.
It never stops. And the pain that the like lack of perspective pain to where, like, hey kid, your world is only this big. You just wait. Right. There's something to that. Speaking of parents laughing at pain, I was like a wee lad, I don't know, 5 years old. I only remember this because the story was told back to me, right? But so I must have been really young. Anyway, so we had a 2-story house growing up, and I would walk around like many a kid did with a blanket, right? And because it was cold, not security blanket, it wasn't Linus, I just had the blanket. So, anyways, I trip over it.
A trend that still carries on today. I see
today,
as you wear a scarf.
I don't have a scarf. Which, thank you for making the heat a little higher in here. It's ice cold. My hands are cold. Anyways, but I fall down the stairs, and like I busted myself up. I would say, right. But what I do remember, what is crisp in my mind, is I fell in such a way that I could see up the stairs, and I could see my mom laughing at me, like heartily.
That's awesome,
dude. And the weird thing is, my mom, she has since passed, but she was like the sweetest lady. Like the cookies and the milk. Even when I was like in my 20s, and my friends would come over, I mean, she's just a sweet lady like that, right? Which made it all the more evil,
right?
As I look back, I'm like, why did that nice lady laugh so heartily at this poor child who had just fallen down the stairs?
There's something about falling, though. Have you ever seen Kevin Hart's bit about falling?
Yes. Yeah. Grandpa.
He talks about Grandpa falling down slowly, holding on to everything. Or he talks about when women are wearing high heels and all of a sudden like flap. Yeah, it's like the funniest thing. I don't know. So or he even had the bit about Shaquille O'Neal falling, and he's like, wait,
who am I?
Oh,
his legs go up. Oh, it's so good.
Right. Something funny about that.
Special. That's a funny special. In fact, actually, that's a different special, but it was the special where he's making fun of outdoing your girl. You go out on a double date and think it was the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But he said that particular special, which is hilarious, by the way. And he's going in on Shaq and Shaq's wife at the time and all that. But he said at the end of that special, he was the last in the lineup. And if you remember, it was in color, right? But then they freeze frame on him in black and white, saying peace to the crowd. And he was like, that I knew that special was it.
Yeah.
And it was like from then on, man, he launched and he was in the stratosphere as a comedian. Yeah. So,
one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I love watching Kevin Hart. But yeah, something about fails or falling just makes me laugh. I think social media doesn't help that at all. How many reels do you see of like skaters, like
just eating shit? There's nothing better. The funny ones, like there's this one chick. She's gonna do some kind of I don't know anything about skateboarding moves, but she's gonna do some kind of a thing, and the board flips, right, and just catches her in the junk.
The comments,
dude,
the comments on that.
So good.
Are so evil, so bad, but so funny, dude.
They're so good.
I don't know about you, but I love running the comments. I run right to the comments to see what people say.
Bro, have you seen where they use? I guess they use an AI, a generative AI, to put music to the comments, and then they sing the comments.
Comments, yes, I've seen that.
Endless entertainment,
dude.
Endless.
Yeah.
Never mind taking the newspaper to the can back in the day. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I need to see those at least once a day. I am crying.
It's bad though too, because like I don't know what happened in my algorithms, but I must have liked those so many times that now it's like I feel like I'm on the evil side of
it gets
Instagram
dark.
and TikTok, where it's like, dang man, some of these comments are just bad. But hilarious.
Fast.
Right.
It gets real dark. Like now I get ones, there's no funny in it.
Right.
There's no funny. It's just hit by a train. You're like, Jesus, I'm trying to eat breakfast, man. You know what I mean? Like, please stop it. Right. So I like dislike it.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I can understand how the robot, the AI, can kind of, it's like, it can't tell. You know, it doesn't have the funny bone.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? You laughed when the girl got hit by a car.
Right.
But
Why
it's like,
you laugh when
but that girl also deserved it because she's down there wilding out in Atlanta, right? And just acting the fool, and she's hanging on like the back of like when they're smoking the tires, you know, the parking lot, and she's hanging out the back, hey, and all this kind of thing, and then flies out at top speed, and it gets hit by the other car. You're like, oh my god! And then there's always the comment, she's all right. But you kind of deserve it.
Yeah,
I hope you're okay.
Right.
Little boo-boos, right? I really do hope you're okay because, you know, but you kind of deserve it.
And then there's the other ones where it's like, it's serious. They just got hit by
there's no
comedic element to it.
They're like
all.
kids standing right there and she tries to beat the train. You're just like, oh no, this, jeez.
Yeah. Why are they showing this?
This is terrible.
Yeah. For a while there, it was funny because like I would just be, you know, our typical routine at night, like when we're just unwinding, we would just, Hannah and I would be laying in bed. I'm looking at my phone and at reels, and she's looking at her phone, and I'm just like cracking up, just cracking up because I'm like on the dark side of TikTok, and she's like, what? Why? How come I never get any of the stuff? It's like, I don't know. Somehow I'm just evil.
Shannon says
like
that to me too.
Algorithms just show that I like this shit.
Yeah.
Dude, there's nothing funnier though. But I think that's like, to a certain extent, it's a good thing that like we can laugh at failure. Because like sometimes that's all you can do. I look at my life and certain failures, and I'm like, all I can do is laugh. Because if not, what's my only other option? Is to cry? You know, like you just gotta laugh.
Gotta laugh.
Gotta laugh.
And the how can I put it? It's like the when you're taking yourself too serious and you're like really connected to it, it's like you don't have the objectivity to laugh in the moment. That's why looking back years later, it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, as long as you can, as long as it doesn't cause you more trauma, I guess. Like, well, no, if it's going to be funny in 5 years, it's probably funny right now.
Yeah.
Right. So start laughing.
Start laughing.
You know, while your nose is bleeding from having broken it by some stupid mean. Start laughing now.
Start laughing now.
Right. Yeah. Because what else are you gonna do, man? You damn sure aren't gonna cry.
Too seriously. Don't take the situation too seriously. Try to look at the bright side. Laugh it off as best you can. But you know, obviously for younger kids, you got to be careful to laugh at things because it can cause trauma. And then my dad, Lily be sitting in some therapy chair, you know, Shay's
I was on a farm all alone.
And then I stubbed my toe. Or I fell.
I started crying. The goat came to me before my dad.
You know, we do as our best as parents to try to prevent as much trauma as possible.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable. There's always going to be something. We always talk about it. There's going to be something. Like, we try to keep the house as peaceful as possible.
Right.
We try to keep Lily's life as peaceful as possible. But inevitably, there's going to be something that we caused.
Right. Inevitably.
Part of the journey, right, of people.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the algorithm of any number of social media sites, man, they got my number.
Yeah.
They got my whole number.
And it's bad because I'm like, man, what's this say about me?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's all kinds.
I love that meme where like they show a image of Jesus like.
Yeah. Looking over your shoulder.
Like, that's me. I'm like, as I'm watching this, I'm like,
yeah.
Oops.
He's a big old freak though, because if he's watching all the time, he sees some wild shit, bro.
Stuff, yeah.
He's a wild dude. I love that. There's something about people getting their come up too. I mean, I know we talked about that before, but like people at what's the park, Yellowstone, right, or a place like that where it's like, don't get that close to that bison.
Right.
You know, don't get that's a tiger.
Come on,
that's a whole ass tiger. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is you know what that
is? You
is?
deserve everything that's coming to you right now.
That's right.
And I'm gonna laugh
that level of violence.
Yeah.
Now you don't have an eye. You got a cool scar,
Yeah.
right? You look like a villain in a Bond movie or something. But still, you could have avoided all that if you just respect nature.
Yeah.
But no. You think you got whitewashed, right? You got whitewashed, greenwashed, and all the other washed. Now, because the internet's got your mind clouded, you think every bear is like Smokey the Bear, right?
Right.
Tigers are like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, right? No, that isn't the world. Yeah. And now you just woke up. That's what you get.
And I'm laughing
I'm laughing hard.
Right.
And I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
And if it's appropriate enough, I'll send it to my kids. I'll show my kids. Look at this. Right. Idiot who got attacked by a tiger.
Lesson learned.
Kids. And then inevitably, the better part is when the kids know, you know, when they're kind of, and obviously maybe they're mimicking me, but like when they're like yelling at the movie theater screen, kind of like, wait, that's a tiger? Why would she go in? He's probably going to get hurt. And then, So, got to learn them right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta learn them right.
Start them young. looking out for that stupidity.
Oh, man.
Anyways, so, broken hand, not broken, but sprained. Compliments of jiu-jitsu. It's snowing like a son of a bitch outside, so we make it home okay.
So what are you gonna do now? You can't play your guitar. You gotta.
Sorry.
When we watched Zach Wilde, dude, he put his guitar by his mouth. I don't know if he was like flicking it with his tongue. I guess you can't do that with your fretting finger.
No, it'd just be a lot of watching video. Like I've busted my stuff up before, you know. You always come out better from it. But it does suck, man, because I try to like if I have some idea in my head, I will try to like go over to my guitar and just like, you know, get the sound in my head out. So if something should hit me, you know, not like I'm recording it or I just want it for my own, you know, knowledge, but I'm gonna have to like very delicately like try to get
so from coach me on how to, you know, so like, do you expect other people to have empathy, like, oh man, that sucks, dude, or would you rather me say, suck it up, you wuss?
No, I expect indifference. Indifference,
just nothing. I don't care.
Busted hand, too bad. Anyways, that's all. And
do you know that, do you communicate that same way to others, or do you know, okay, for them, like if Ernie busts his hand, he's probably gonna need a little bit more like, hey, are you all right, man? You know, can I do anything
generally
for you?
not I'm pretty hard no unless it's like, you know, women or children, you know what I mean? Like no, because
see, by the way, it's because people like you that like people like me have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And I busted my hand, and Chris just didn't even comment.
See, now you just turned into Lily in that moment. No, it's not that way, because here's how it goes, right? If somebody's busted up, right? Like I had a student, this is a lesson I learned when I was like 21 or so, and he was a bass student of mine, right? And he was handicapped. He had like kind of lobster looking, deformity on both arms, right? And he was a cool kid anyway. He was in punk rock music and all this kind of thing. And even had like a bit of, he was like a sarcastic, so clever kind of guy, you know what I mean? And so I was like, shit, I'm going to teach this kid, And very quickly, I abandoned whatever empathetic language, PC, you know what I mean? Any of that. I abandoned it because I was like, this kid, whatever it was, 14, which relatively speaking, I was only a couple years older than him.
Yeah,
I was 21 at the time.
Yeah.
But he damn sure didn't want to hear it from me about his handicap, whatever it might have been, right?
Yeah.
So for the vast majority of people, right, now that's an extreme example, but nonetheless, it's like you acknowledge it, like I'm in. This will be a challenge on the bass. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But carry on, right?
Yeah.
And you bust their chops, and then you get the same treatment as everybody else. So with that, if you're all busted up and I see you got a cast, right, or I'm like, hold the door. Hey, man, you want me to get that for you? Because like you got to look out for people.
Yeah.
But like, if I like juke you, you're like, hey, watch my hand. I'm like, yeah, I got you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I fully expect it back. If you managed to like set me up and I should turn quick to avoid having my hand hurt and smack it, say, on the corner of this chair, it's going to hurt. And I'm also going to be like, that was a good one. You got me.
You got me.
Solid burn.
Wow. Okay,
Solid burn. Because, if you're dishing it out, you got to take it.
You got to take it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't discriminate.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't relate. Can't relate.
Not like me. Not like me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, well, your algorithm would state otherwise. Obviously, you like see people get fucked up.
Yeah.
I like, but I get that. I get that fed to me, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the bubble that I think we had talked about that before, where you like get fed the same thing, that echo chambery kind of thing.
Yeah. We did.
And it has its benefits, and I feel like they really have my number. The marketing is strong, like I get a lot of cool and interesting facts, but the really weird part is like, if like whatever I get that I'm going to buy. So like, okay, I get a jujitsu, a gi special, right? From like Venom, company that makes gis and fight gear, right? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. I look up those gis every now and again. They're kind of a bigger ticket item. $100 gi is kind of on par. And so then I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. I look at fights on YouTube. I follow fighters and fight stuff on social media like Instagram and otherwise. So it just, that adds up. Some other things, though, when they have my number, they're like, I was just talking about that.
Right.
I don't look that up.
Right.
How did they know?
Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm like looking at Alexa.
Yeah.
Like how did they know?
So, it's interesting because when we think about like trends for marketing, nowadays everything is more and more just that predictive nature. So like, for example, Google can not only predict, if you're searching for this particular keyword, then they know they could suggest other things because they know typically based off of their data that you're going to be interested in this or that, right?
Right.
It's becoming so predictive. They even know what you're thinking before you even think of it.
Yeah.
So often people say, I think our phones listen to us or Alexa's listen to us. That's why all of a sudden no, what's really happening there is that they know you based off of all the data you're submitting that you're going to be talking about this at this time. That's how predictive it is. And it's crazy.
And the combination of people, right? So like if you're in close proximity to certain people, you're going to get some of their stuff. Like they're going to know the algorithms, the gods in the sky, man, they're going to know.
Yeah.
And that's where you get that. I'm still mostly like, they're not listening to me directly.
Yeah.
Right? Because I seem to think that would be too much bandwidth.
I think it's too much bandwidth. I think there's some ethics involved, that like, okay, so your technologies listen to every conversation we have.
Every single conversation?
No, they can't. Yeah. They got to be careful with that, right? And another trend that I looked up is that, the whole ethics and, that whole topic is becoming more and more a big topic today for marketers. And so I would be surprised if they're gearing their equipment, because if that's the case, then that's spy technology, right? And I mean,
but that's all. I mean, so to hit that idea, spy technology. What is spy technology? Mm-hmm. Well, evidently, you can have your Wi-Fi in your house combined with all the electrical sockets, create a image of whatever and whoever's in that room. Mm-hmm. Everything is spy technology.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things they were talking about. I was actually watching a guy who was talking about spy technology and how even some like Chinese like vacuums that are connected, or smart vacuums connected to your Wi-Fi, like how it's not that difficult to be able to use that technology to get into your network and find everything they need to know about you, right? But for marketers and for companies to say, hey, look, we're going to turn on the cameras and the audio to get all this feedback, man, they better have a really good fine print legal document that we must be signing off on for that.
I'm sure they do.
But
read it.
But when I was, remember, I forget the name of he was a CEO of a top agency here in Cincinnati. He was a keynote speaker, and he was talking about this recent trend about how now their algorithms, or the AI is so advanced that they could predict what you're gonna be searching for before you even search it.
That's wild.
Right. So that helps with marketers pushing out advertisements or product advertisements, services, etc. And then all of a sudden, boop, you open up you turn on your phone, you look online or social media, and boom, those ads pop up.
When there's like a threshold, I guess, an event horizon of like where it's like I know what I'm looking for. It's like this scale, right? On one side, say I go to like a mall, like back in the day, right? And I could not be marketed to aside from like a Sears catalog or something I get in the mail, right? But otherwise, like I'm pretty much, just empty nothingness to this mall, right? So I walk in the mall, and then I'm really dictating my tastes in the moment, but things might catch my eye.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. And so therefore the days of the logo and the kind of pulling you in, but that's all very, very, very immediate right then and there. And the smells, like going past Annie's, the pretzels and all the Cinnabon and all that. Like, all right. So that's on the one side of the scale. And, it's like they're trying to pull me in, but like I see the fish hook. Yeah. But then eventually it's like being in like a casino or something, to the point where it's like, now, maybe that fish hook isn't so bright and shiny anymore. Now it's not even made of material that, it's like see-through, so you're not, and it's like not fair at that point, right? Because you can't even avoid the goddamn fish hook anymore. And so then it's like, well, at least at that point, it was still just dangling randomly almost, right? But then now it's getting to the point where it follows you. Right. So if you should turn around, right? So you can't see it. It follows you. And then as it gets better and better and better, it's not like swinging in at lightning speed. It knows where you're going to be. It's able to like triangulate your position. It knows you're going to go right here at this particular time. And you just walk. What are you going to do? You're stuck. Right.
You're stuck.
And then for the last lean of this is it gets to the point where it's informing you what you like, right? So it's directing you. It's not even marketing to you at that point. It's just telling you what you like, right? And I think that like, I feel like that's like this dystopian kind of tipping point where it's eventually going to get to, and a computer is going to be, like mother's going to tell you what to do. Mother knows best. Those kinds of vibes. That's how I picture it. But right now, it doesn't seem that way. That seems like a long way off.
But see, even in those scenarios, though, like it has to be. It's not like AI is just going to throw, hey, here's a a badminton set. Like, okay, why do I need a badminton set?
It's random,
right?
Yeah.
It's completely random.
Yeah.
So it's so advanced that it knows exactly what you like.
Right.
That you're not gonna like badminton. It's not gonna try to hook you with a badminton set, right? It's gonna hook you with a gi or with, any other fight type related product that you might be interested in, right?
Sure.
Because it knows you. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's ultimately for marketers is good because you get real time access to your consumer. You have you could be able to push your product and be able to see key performance indicators on your campaigns versus in the past where we just pushed advertisements out, like in catalogs, in those mailers, in billboard ads, commercials, and you're just like, okay, let's see how many times people reference that ad.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like we could say, okay, we turned on this ad, this predictive ad. It went to these individuals, they locked on, they purchased a product. It's good. At the end of the day, it's good for marketers for sure, but I think it's still good for the consumers because you're not being bombarded in a world where we're seeing so much imagery and so much competing narratives. I just would rather get the stuff that interests me the most.
Right.
You don't have to buy it, so that's still your choice.
Kind of the illusion of choice too. I mean, look, you can only put things in my face to a certain point, and it's hard to get away from. But what these things put me in mind of down a different path is we've referenced this before. Back to the Future, 2, because then he goes forward. Yeah. So Back to the Future 2, there's the Jaws, ad where it like looks like it's going to consume him, right, on the sidewalk. So those kinds of things, like I remember the Pokemon game and other things like that. I've never played them, but where you're basically walking around with your phone and you're
catching,
all
Pokemon.
that thing. And so, with the dawn of like Google Glass and these kinds
augmented
of things,
reality, VR, the metaverse. Yeah.
How, I can picture, right, not too long from now, I mean, I'm just going to go get me some glasses, right? In fact, I do have to go get new glasses. And like, I can't imagine it's going to take too long until just your regular glasses. It's like, would you like a chip in those? What do you mean? Well, when you walk through, say, Target, with these glasses, you can, scan the barcodes on whatever, or you could do this, that, and the other. And you just, might not even need cash or whatever it is, right? So I guess it's just one step closer, in my opinion, to like eventually being told what I like, right? But for right now, it seems like it's a convenience thing.
See, I like
it's
it.
It's a direct targeting.
See, I think that's it's a difference in our personality too.
Yeah.
Because I don't like wasting my time. So if it's going to tell me what I like because it knows me.
Yeah.
But see, I'm also that same guy I want to be plugged in. So, give me the glasses, give me the chip, which is weird because I live on a farm. So it's like, how does that really work?
We're just a wash in hypocrisy on this podcast, dude.
We are.
I hadn't really seen it before. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the trends is exciting. As a marketer, it's exciting.
That's a fact.
Because augmented reality, being able to go online and look at how clothes can be able to look on an image of me, or Lily the other day for Christmas, her mother said, "Hey, go ahead and go on a Nike online store and design your own shoe." Yeah. Like she picked out her own colors, and boom, in a matter of weeks, it's there. Right. Like, and she's like, "This is the shoe I designed." Right. So that whole personalization aspect of it, everything from that to going to augmented like metaverse and buying things online that way. Yeah. I mean, it's exciting times as marketers because this is an opportunity for us to be able to allow consumers to engage with our brands. I mean, literally engage with our brands, engage with the product, create what they want, and then get what they want. And so the idea is that they're more highly satisfied, right?
Right. And they keep coming back, and loyalty and all that.
But even in customer service,
yeah,
the satisfaction, customer service, using AI for chatbots and things like that. Sometimes you don't even know you're not even talking to a real person.
I'm very used to it now. And what's interesting is like having spent so much time with ChatGPT, mostly not like 80% for work. It's interesting. Kind of, sort of. I'm not saying I'm like some, chatbot whisperer or anything, but like I kind of can tell, right? Okay, that's a chatbot. But then it helps me to communicate, right? Because then I'd be like, oh, I'm talking to a robot. Okay, got it. And I just a little more direct,
right?
Or specific or whatever. Like I know what it is I need to get.
Right. Okay. If I know that it's AI, then I know what prompts I could put in there to get the results I'm looking for.
Right.
So it helps. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it can be bad. Like I just want to speak to a human.
Right. Yeah. There's that too.
But when now, because it's becoming more and more advanced and more knowledgeable, these bots are becoming more knowledgeable. That they could not only answer and give you the response you like, but in a way that feels very human.
Yeah. And even if honestly for me, even if it isn't human, I still get the answer. I didn't need to talk to a person. It just is. It used to be easier to talk to a human being because then I can communicate easier. It's just easier on me. But they're getting to the point.
I mean, I'm fascinated. Like using ChatGPT all the time, and I've kind of ascribed to something that Seth Godin said in one podcast. Right. He's a huge marketer with several books, etc. And he said like if marketers especially aren't using ChatGPT or AI for 30 minutes a day at least, then you're going to become irrelevant. Right. And so when I heard that, I'm like, that's true. I mean, I use ChatGPT throughout the day. There isn't pretty much an hour or a couple hours that go by where I'm not using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it's everything from work to personal or what have you, like asking certain questions. And now I've gotten to a point, and I joke about it with the staff, like I have my ChatGPT so personalized that now the responses I get is not only accurate or more accurate, but it's in a tone, it's in a way that I like to receive information because I set it that way, and it's very personalized. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, and I love the trends that we're seeing coming out. And as marketers, we need to either embrace it or change professions.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to say it.
Yeah. Adapt or die. Yep. Yeah. I think the ethical side, the guidelines, like probably, I guess I think of the internet in general, like a long time ago, how like there was a lot of rules in the books, say about copywriting or fair use or whatever it might have been, right? And then the internet comes along and say the use of like images, right? Now, I don't claim to know the laws or the amendments or the policies or any crap, but all I do know is that there was a technology that happened that then like they finally, it always seems like it's years later where they changed the law, right, to accommodate this new technology. Honestly, it always seems like, what the hell are they doing at Capitol Hill, man? Like, why are they so far behind? Yeah. Right? Is that intentional? Because it seems like dangerous that they let this stuff go so long to where people have like, their images, say, just as a random example, like your images used in a bad kind of a way, and you've got no legal recourse to come back, on that, right? A lot of female Hollywood actress types are dealing with that very thing. Like they don't want their face in what, this dude is trying to, this creeper's trying to do, right? In this like X-rated film. I don't blame them. Yeah. I get it, right? I wouldn't want that out there. So, it'd be funny if the comments somebody does that to me. Anyways, so yeah, but then the laws and the rules and the guidelines and the practices, like they're so far behind.
Yeah.
what the hell is that about? It seems intentional. It seems like if I was the king of the world and I could hold the laws back from changing, it feels like a cash grab because it's like, hey, I see the way of the world right now. I can capitalize on this thing right here before the feds figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's make our money. And then they figured it out.
I think the challenge, though, is that, lawmakers, that's a long process, right?
Yeah.
And technology, it's every day, moment by moment, it's improving, it's changing. There you go. My heartless. That's what you want. That's the kind of response you want.
What do you like, Chat GPT? That is what kind of response you wanted.
Yes, I'm learning. See, it's generative.
Bro. Generative.
He likes to be laughed at.
Yeah.
Hurt your hand. Idiot.
He favors pointing and laughing.
But, I don't know how lawmakers can be able to keep up with stuff that's happening, online and AI. It's very challenging, right? I'm not saying I'm condoning that they don't do anything. I'm just saying, how do you possibly keep up with the technology?
I will say, to park there for a second, when a while ago when Facebook, when it was still Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is sitting there drinking like water like an alien, like all weird as shit. He's better now, I guess. Jiu-jitsu saves lives. Anyways, he
wow, what a plug.
Hey-o, got it. He was saying some regular stuff to these people, and they were just like, What is this www dot thing, sir? It's like, how far behind can you be though, right? Because at that point, I feel like the politicians are so far behind that their lack of understanding, lack of perspective is, at worst a danger, but at least like a loss of capitalizing a loss of opportunity. Yeah. Right. And that gets political because then it's like, well, yeah, everybody's over 65.
Right.
Right. And they were then anyway. And so perhaps there's something to be said for like term limits, but that aside, it's just, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's probably more like you're saying, right? It's just the bureaucracy of the machine. It's just too big. Machine. You can't move it fast. So,
but in the meantime, we leverage it. Marketers leverage these tools.
Here we are.
Right? Kind of like what you said. While we can still do it,
I'm going to get it.
We're going to get it.
I'm going to get mine.
And let the lawmakers make the law that, and there are people who, they need to be concerned about these things. As marketers, we leverage every avenue, every platform, every angle we possibly can in order to be able to get to the target audience at a low cost, high value type scenario.
Right.
And right now, the pull tactics, compelling people to want to buy your product, creating content that drives people to want to use your service. That's where it's at right now. And then if we could be able to get that in front of people in a quick time, being more accessible, I say why not?
So the ethical thing, like basically it's on us as marketers to use the stuff ethically.
Yeah.
Right. And if there's a bunch of bastards out there that we've said before where they're like driven by greed or they can see the bag and it's like, hey man, don't do that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't market it like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Or if there's just all kind of really shitty manipulative type things that you can do to people to get them to buy a product that in the end maybe sucks. Right. And then you're just ripping people off.
Right.
And so it sucks that laws have to be, I guess, made for that purpose, for the really, truly unethical.
I've never seen a KPI document that says, hey, a key performance indicator, how ethical were we?
That's kind of true.
There's never been on any metric that I've ever seen. Yeah. It's always how many engagements, how much reach,
right?
How many leads came in, how many clicks, how much did this activity drive sales and profitability, right? No, there's no line item that says,
are you being a dick along the way?
Nowhere. So that's why it's like, on one hand, we kind of have to put that ethical, like that's in somebody else's court. As marketers, that is in somebody else's court. Because we're bred to and trained to move these measurables, right? How do we generate more leads?
I'll say though that there does seem to be an attempt. It's really clouded at this point. But Zuckerberg just recently adjusted the policies at Facebook for the favoring community notes as opposed to what equates to censorship, I would say. And so I guess that's an attempt. It's very subjective. It is not that simple. By the way, did you know that Meta has one of the largest lobbyists for a particular, I think it's like the technology sector at the Hill or something like this. So basically, I just saw a chart not too long ago, I think it was on Breaking Points, where they had like, this mark here was like 90%. Right. And like it was companies X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 maybe 5. And they were like the top lobbying contributors to like the technology narrative on Congress or whatever. And Meta was like freaking 70% of the money, bro. Yeah. So it's like all the hippy dippy tree hugging leftists are like blind. They're like, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg found a heart. Do no evil like Apple, da 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 da, right? And they believe the narrative he's pushing because on the front, he's like, you know what? I'm going to do away with the censorship thing. I found Jesus, all this kind of whatever the hell it is. Oh, he's Jewish. Anyways, I found this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, all right, dude, but you're also lobbying for that. You know, like you're still playing a political game, man. Yeah. You are one of the richest people, by the way, right? So the ethic part. So I think, yes, you're right. Once it gets to a big certain level, the ethics are on somebody else. And then for us, regular folks, I think it's more on, that's reputational. You know what I mean? Like I just know, and we're in the business of helping people do good things, right? Like every one of our clients, anybody, the people we work with, it's like, we're just trying to help people. Yeah. You know, like got a little HVAC company. Yeah. We got you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We can help you. What's the evil in that? Right. Guys just fixing, vents, man. It's all good. So, maybe the ethics can be left to others. But it is quite the monster to put back in the cage. And interesting you mentioned the KPIs, what that also makes me think of is the way that human beings measure the metrics and can track and pivot business based on those is only going to be accelerated by the AI.
Absolutely.
Substantially.
Absolutely. And that's why big data is another trend, big data,
big D energy,
be able to take all that information and AI is just collecting it. Right. Every second of the day is collecting as much information on people as possible.
And able to synthesize.
Yeah. And able to synthesize that. Right? And so as marketers, we're almost like in a playground. We have so many tools at our, accessible to us. We have so much data accessible to us. We should be more knowledgeable. Our messaging should be more on point than it ever was. Yeah. I mean, there could be an argument said back in the day, during the Mad Men era, where they're manipulating because they're, aside from them putting ads out, sponsoring commercials, creating commercials, people could live life without having seen it, hardly anything.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, I'm going to tell you that cigarettes will give you enjoyment, right? Yeah. And won't have any health problems at all, right? They could manipulate it that way. We're now in an information era. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really get away with making up lies.
Right. Yes, right. But then the flip side too is the fact that there's also a crazy amount of information. Right. Now it's like there's so much information. I need a freaking AI to sift good from bad. Right. And I've seen.
Well, then doesn't that just create you it forces you to be a more savvy consumer?
Yes.
Right. Versus back then where I just see, here's 2 different car ads. this one looks cool, and I like how what they're portraying. I'm going to go that direction. Right. Now it's like you have so many different ads, so many different reviews, even regarding those ads and those products, that now it forces me so much that like I can't just say, oh, this one person said this one negative review. Right. I'm going to just trust that one person. Anybody who does that is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so much to the story, and so it creates it challenges us to be more savvy consumers.
Yeah.
Right, because we have to think through it, because we're hit in real time with a lot of choices to make.
And I figure the AI is maybe the consumer tool, mm-hmm. right? Because like, again, I don't have, like, if I didn't have time in the day, whatever, years ago to make a decision on whatever my buying choice or whatever it is, like, but then again, there was limited information, and mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe it's manageable, maybe it's not, but like now it's damn sure not manageable, and I've got less time, mm-hmm. right? I feel like I've got less time. So how the hell am I supposed to sift through, like we just talked about, I was looking for, jackets and shoes and just like new gear for mm-hmm. the year, right? Man, I looked and I typed Google, as you do, and looked up like dress boots or something mm-hmm. like that. There couldn't have been any more websites. There's so many. It's not just like Nordstrom's or something or Macy's. Yeah. It was so many little shops and little artisanal, or so they claim, right? Mm-hmm. It's who the hell knows? It's made in Ghana out of mm-hmm. like old fax machines or something. And so what did I do? What am I looking for? I thought, what do I not know about shoes? I thought. Mm-hmm. And then I got really down to it, right? Well, what are the shoes called? It's got the laces. It's a dress shoe, but there's a zipper on the side. Mm-hmm. What is it? What kind of heel is that? I used to have shoes like this. I think they were made by Florsheim. What about the toe? So I get into it. How did I get into it? Mm-hmm. I asked ChatGPT, right? Yeah. I didn't look it up. So by the time I really went back mm-hmm. looking for shoes, then I was armed. I'm like, okay, I want this kind of heel. I want this kind of thing. I want blah, 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 blah. And I could get very specific and to the point, mm-hmm. right? But I didn't even know what it was that I liked. I needed to kind of figure it out.
Right.
So that educational thing, like you're saying, is mm-hmm. true.
Yeah.
And it was nice that I had ChatGPT, because if I had tried to figure it out,
it challenges you to be more savvy.
Yeah.
But you have tools that can help you.
Fact.
I did the same thing. I said, okay, this year I want to revamp my whole style.
Right.
And so I said, okay, this is what I'm looking to do with my style this year. This is the kind of perception I want people to feel. This is the type of I want a style that makes me feel confident or whatever, right? And I put all these different parameters in there, and I said, okay, these are the style choices for you. I'm like, okay, well, I like this style choice. So tell me, what makes this style choice unique in itself? What type of articles of clothing should I be looking for? It just lists out the other stuff. And so I just work that whole pattern. Okay, now create images that fit these styles, and boom, it just created all these images. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. And so now I just go out, and now I should have asked, create images of styles that would work with a, pudgy Asian. Because inevitably, all the styles look good with them. You'd like these thin, tall-looking guys, chiseled jaws.
Chad.
Like, okay, then I go to the store and try to buy these things. I'm like, it just doesn't look right. So, now I've taken it upon myself that I asked ChatGPT too. Okay, I need to apparently lose some fat.
Damn.
So what do I need to do? Give me a routine of things I need to do to improve, from food to, and it helped me. So it's like a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
It's great. I think from that standpoint, it's making me, it's cutting out a lot of time, making me more efficient, but giving me what I need when I need it.
And thankfully not mean to you as well, right? No, I could picture the same thing.
I even told my ChatGPT what's my Enneagram number.
Right.
So they know exactly how to communicate to me.
Right. I've done the same. Yeah, I've done the same at this point.
And I assigned, I said, okay, I want to give you a Enneagram personality.
Right.
What personality do you think works best for my personality? I'm a 3-wing 4.
Right.
And ChatGPT said it was like a 2-wing 3.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so memory update. Can you make that your personality, 2-wing 3, so you could relate best with me?
Okay.
And so that's why it even changed the personality in order to communicate best with me.
That's wild, man. Yeah.
And I said,
but helpful.
And whatever you do, don't have Chris's personality.
Come on. Come on. No, you'd be crying. That would be your moment.
Yeah.
That would be you broken.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be like, what style
Asian,
works
why would
with
you
my
say
body
that to
type?
me?
You're fat, dude. Like, really? What a fucking
why?
jerk, dude.
Just really going over your life,
Just give
staring
up.
out in
Give
your
up.
farm. Give up, bro.
You have to go roll.
Yeah, you should have been rolling already.
Should be rolling already. What's
Sell
wrong
off
with
the
you?
farm. That's it. That's it.
Like, you know what? No. So
yeah.
I mean, like I said, the trends that are coming our way are augmented reality, VR, metaverse, big data, ChatGPT,
Blockchain, NFTs
blockchain.
fell off, but things like it.
blockchain.
Bitcoin's blown up.
What do you call that? The chatbots. You know. This is exciting times for marketers.
Yeah.
But it also is going to, I think, test marketers. Like if you are getting of that age or that mentality where like I just can't keep up, well then maybe it's time to step out of the game. Yeah. Right. I remember I was talking to a local guy here. He used to own an ad agency, and he had like 60 employees nationwide, reach. And he retired, and at this point I just chat with him. So give me some words of wisdom, and he was telling me how whatever you do, stay on top of the trends, stay on top of the technology, because he grew up in a different era where he hated email. When email started coming out, he resisted that. He's like, why are you emailing me? You're just down the hall. Walk over and talk to me. Emails. Right. And it got to a point where he's like, I can't do this anymore. Right. Like technology's gone so far beyond me that I just don't enjoy this anymore. And so he stepped out of the game. Didn't even sell his company. Didn't even bring anybody in to take over his company. He just like, I'm closing the door, everybody. And he retired, he bought some homes in Florida, and he just moved. How's that? And so that's where I'm like, I don't want to be that type of business owner. I don't want to be that agency. I want to make sure we're always looking at cutting edge technology. What's the more upcoming trends, because we got to stay relevant. Right. And maybe it will surpass me. Maybe it will go faster than I can keep up with. But that's when I got to be able to be open to bringing on the younger generation, people who, they've lived it, they've grew up with it. It's easier for them.
Don't know anything but that.
Mm-hmm.
Like just it's a given that
it's a given. Their brains have to be like, developed differently than our brains. Yeah, I saw this one was a meme. It said it's crazy to think that we were the last generation to have to live like this or whatever, and it was like 1980s, and it showed like this old school picture. Like we didn't know how good we had it, that we were the last generation to have it as good as we did. Yeah. And I think about it, I'm like, that's so true, man. When we were growing up in the 1980s, just no need for cell phones, playing with joysticks on, video games, Atari, jumping with our little BMX bikes, and coming home at, just leaving the house early morning on a Saturday and not coming home till the sun went down. And, it's just such a great generation to be a part of.
The arguments, like I can remember amongst myself and but certainly like my family, my parents' generation, of like, I don't know, stupid shit. Like, what's the best way to get to like Walmart or some bullshit? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, you got to take County Line Road, and no, you go down Route 9. You know what I mean? Like yelling from the kitchen, and then it's like a big deal, but there was no Google. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's
drawing maps. When was the last time? I remember drawing. Okay, you go take this road, and then you stop here. You're gonna want to take a right. Yeah. Now it's like almost weird for somebody to ask for directions. Don't you have your phone?
Yeah. Why would you ask? Why would you ask for directions? What happened? Yeah. Something really terrible.
There was one year. I want to say it was like 2014, 15.
All right.
When I decided, I told my staff, I go, you know what? I'm pulling away from technology.
Okay.
I'm just I went. My phone contract was up. I went to Verizon and I just bought a flip phone. Whoa. I'm like, I'm just doing flip phone. I'm pulling out of this stuff. I don't want, you guys can do this, but I don't want to do this. You know how long that lasted?
A week.
You know why? I had no clue where I was driving to.
Damn.
I'm like, I got to go to this appointment. How do I get there? I was calling my staff saying, hey, could you text me the directions? Wow. And then I'm like, okay, this is terrible.
Radically impractical.
Yeah. So impractical. And then I was like trying to get ahead of that. Like, okay, I'll just print out MapQuest.
Right.
The directions on MapQuest. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Like I'm giving myself unnecessary work.
Yeah.
Or my staff unnecessary work telling me, all right, make sure you take a left over at this road. And when I could just get with it, man. Get a smartphone, and so it only lasted a week. It was cool in thought, but not when you're running a marketing agency and you're going from meeting to meeting. And it was during a time. This is during a time when people didn't even want to jump onto Skype.
Yeah,
I remember trying to convince clients, hey, we could jump on Skype. Like, what's Skype?
Skype?
Like, okay, fine, I'll drive 2 hours to meet with you.
Sucks.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And it's just. That's where we're going. If you're running a marketing agency, if you're in a marketing industry, you better embrace it and stay on top of it because it's fun times. But if you don't, it's gonna pass you.
Yeah, and like we were saying, for better or worse, man, I'd imagine there's going to be rules changing, laws,
and it should
capitalize right now.
There should be.
Get in while the getting's good.
There should be rules because there's But that's a whole nother topic though. Like how do lawmakers keep up with it? Right. In the meantime, we do our best to utilize it the best we know how.
Right.
But we have to self-regulate.
Yeah.
Now, it's different for us because we are more in the we're in the government, public sector. We're doing healthcare. We're doing industrial manufacturing type of industries.
Right.
And so it's different for us. We don't really have to deal with those type of concerns as much. Yeah. But those people who are marketing products, consumer goods, man, yeah, they have
Wild
to
West, man.
Either shut that part of their brain off,
right,
or just say, you know what, I know it's there, but I gotta make the money. But again, no matter what we're in, this is good times. We got a lot of exciting things happening in this new year.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
And hopefully the economy will be much better.
Yeah.
Inflation will go down.
Get that money.
Get that money.
Get you some more land for your estate.
But I'm already feeling it. I don't know if you're feeling this, but I'm having a sense that people are ready to make this a great year. Marketing wise. People are like,
all the people, the businesses, the people that I've run into, the business owners, small business owners, big business owners in manufacturing, right?
Yep.
A lot of people were like, hey, man, depending on how this election was going, I was going to maybe, turtle up.
Yep.
Or really go gangbusters this year.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, it's palpable.
Yep.
Right. In spite of all the chaos in the world, because Jesus, is there a lot going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most of us, at least we are, very optimistic for the future, man.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
What's a nice tidy message to get out of here on? I like that. All right, let's get out of here on that. So, as always, God, that hurt.
I'm not letting you down. Every time I hear you,
I know.
I'm just gonna laugh.
I know. That's fine.
Laugh at you.
I can take it.
No tear shed.
From the iconic era of advertising to the digital age, I'm Chris.
And I'm Ernie.
Keep it legendary.